Hello, Clover fans, and welcome into the official Savannah Clovers podcast. I'm Kyle Lawson, and this is a very special day as we are joined by the head coach of your Savannah Clovers, Coach David Proctor. Coach, welcome in. It's been way too long since we talked.
Yeah, appreciate you, Kyle. And we were just chatting earlier, but it's been too long. We need to catch up a lot more. And we've an awful lot has gone on in between our last conversation.
Absolutely, it has, Coach. A lot of big things, even just this week, and we're going to get into that on this afternoon's podcast here. And I know it's tough with the holidays, just trying to get everyone together, but we're getting closer and closer to the inaugural NISA season for the Savannah Clovers. And I'll just throw it to you real quick, Coach, with the first question. Last time we spoke, we were getting ready to have the local and the ID invite-only trials. What were your biggest takeaways from those trials?
All three of them were fantastic. You know, they were all beneficial and are going to help us in the long run in so many different ways. You know, the good thing that I take away from it is that we've got three local players that went through all the three different stages of those trials, and they're going to make the final roster. And excuse me, I can't share their names today on this, but they will be announced in the future very, very shortly. But we're delighted that we've got some local players that are going to come through and be on our roster from these events.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's a part of the mission statement of this club, culture, community. The fact that there's going to be some local lads that are going to be in this side, a very young side. And I think that's wonderful. So, I mean, I kept looking and reading about and seeing all these great photographs from the trials. The fact that there's going to be local players that are contributing to the Clovers is really special. And so that you almost kind of took away my second question. Do you feel that the players that were at the trial, you say you have three that, I mean, you can't announce, but of course that will have impact on your final squad?
Yes, we hope so. I mean, we hope that the whole squad, I mean, we're looking right now to have a roster of 20. And then we're going to have 4 local players involved in that as well. So our final squad will be 24, but without doubt, you know, all three of them are going to play a massive part, you know, throughout the season. That's why we've taken them.
That's great. So 24. So that being said, when do you think, what is your timeline for actually finalizing that final 24-man roster?
We're very close now. I mean, we're up to, we've signed 18 professional players so far, which is really exciting for the group. And I have, you know, 2 or 3 roster places left, but I want to take my time on those, you know, and we're hopeful. Excuse me. I want to take my time on those just so we can get into pre-season. And obviously we have the group formulated, but we can look to see if we need additional places in certain areas. So I want to keep a few places available for areas like that.
Okay, and that being said, where would you say these players are coming from as far as different leagues, different organizations throughout this country? I know it's going to be a U.S.-based squad for the time being. Where are some of the players that you've been able to locate? Where do they come from?
Well, this is the most exciting part of it all. I mean, for us formulating this squad, you know, we have to be a total US based league. So we're not allowed to have visa players, but you'd be amazed with the nationalities of the players that are coming in. And this is the great thing about soccer in this country, is that it's from, you know, it's from people from all over the world. I mean, our roster will be formed with players from France, Cyprus, the Netherlands, England, South Africa, Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, USA, and, you know, I'm pleased to say Savannah. And I know I've gone and missed a couple of countries here, and the lads will probably hammer me for it, but that's the good thing. So, you know, I'm really pleased with it. I mean, you know, when NISA opens up the doors where you can sign international players, the roster probably will be a little bit different in years to come. But to say that right now, you know, we can only form a USA based team, it really is a global game, and we've opened it up those doors. So there'll be so many people in Savannah and the different regions that we can open up. They'll have a player from a certain region and a country that they can really support and come out and look forward to watching.
That's great, Coach. And I mean, just the diversity, because football is the world's game. It just is. It's been proven time and again. That being said, so the players you were able to recruit stateside now, as far as the clubs and organizations, were you recruiting from USL, other NISA clubs, or even Major League Soccer?
Yeah, we've actually got players from all three. So I'm really pleased with that. Our scouting team did a fantastic job, and the coaching staff that we have, the technical team, it's been a really full-on 6 months of just recruiting and scouting, and we've actually recruited from MLS, USL, NISA, and top colleges and local colleges, around the country.
It's such a broad net you can cast from in the state of American soccer today. How it's just grown really just in the last 30 to 40 years. It's unbelievable. From even the difference you can just see even from when I was growing up, 20 years ago, going into college, things like that. The game's really exploded, and it allows you to just get the best and the brightest to be able to come here for the first season for the Clovers. And we talked about the players now. We talked about the trials. A lot of big announcements about the coaching and technical staff. I really want to hear about it. Tell us about your staff.
Yeah, really, really excited about the staff. Obviously, I'm bringing in Paul McGlynn, who's going to be assistant coach. Paul's got a wealth of experience within US soccer, and obviously working within US soccer itself, the national teams. Paul's two sons are professional players within the game at Philadelphia and Philadelphia Union and Hartford. Yes. So Paul obviously has sons in the game, but obviously he'll bring a lot of that to our team. So I'm really excited to bring Paul on board. Excuse me. Bert Leonard will be an assistant coach and video analyst. I worked with Bert at Nashville Soccer Club. His video analysis is fantastic, and he's got a wealth of knowledge, again within US national teams and Costa Rica. So that's going to be fantastic for us from a team and, from an individual player standpoint. Brian Silvestre comes to us as our goalkeeping coach and assistant coach. Played in MLS with LA Galaxy and Vancouver Whitecaps. And is also an international player, so a wealth of experience from Brian. Fantastic to bring him in. He's a wonderful character. We've got CJ McCauley, fantastic scout. CJ has done a wonderful job in helping us with the trials and bringing in players. He's got a great network around the country, so we're delighted to work with CJ. We've got Justin Hewitt, our head of sports performance. He owns Transform Savannah, but he's a wealth of knowledge in our strength and conditioning. He's doing a great job right now with our players, with their individual player plans out of season. He's doing a great job. So I'm delighted to bring in Justin. And then finally we bring in Melly Kirkwood, who is our director of operations. She's a wonderful character. She'll be our boss. She's in charge of all the player welfare, the travel, everything. All the team problems, they'll go to Melly, and my problems will go to Melly. But she's wonderful, and that's why she's here. So, we really appreciate her, and I really appreciate the group. I think for NISA. And for where we are in Savannah, I'm really, really excited about the coaching staff. It's, I think most teams in MLS would be quite jealous to have a group like this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I kept seeing the names, and I knew Paul McGlynn's name. I said, where do I know that name? And yes, I know His boys are in MLS and in the professional game here in the States, and high level talent. You brought that in to build the cornerstone, the foundation of your coaching staff. There's going to be no excuse for the lack of video or the lack of fitness or the lack of technical training. It's all there. And I love that all the coaching staff and analysts were able to be unveiled at Memorial Stadium. I thought everyone did a really good job of Memorial. I mean, of course, goes to Brian Sykes, our chief community officer, for setting it all up. So very exciting. I felt like we had a new announcement every day last week, and I've just been dying to share it with everybody. So really appreciate the insight on that, Coach. So if you're just joining us right now, you're listening to the official Savannah Clovers podcast with head coach David Proctor, ahead of the inaugural NISA season for your Savannah Clovers. Coach, it brings me to one of my final questions. You've been so generous with your time. You've had an opportunity to take part in some local community events with the Clovers. The EPL match days at Starland Yard, which are a lot of fun. What are your thoughts now that you've been exposed here to Savannah's soccer community? What is your takeaway, and what are your thoughts on our on our soccer community as a whole?
Well, it was amazing to go out there to Starland Yard. You know, I went to a couple of games during the World Cup, and obviously with Brian Sykes, and it was fantastic to meet all of the people out there, and it just goes to show how, you know, we have a great soccer community behind us here in Savannah, and one that's really excited to get behind us on a national stage. You know, the only thing I was worried about was, you know, there was a lot of Arsenal fans and Man United fans, so you know, we might have to change.
We turn up.
You know, some of their choices in clubs they support, but no, it was fantastic. You know, and we hope to use Starland Yard a lot, you know, as our base, and along with other places, just to create a really good culture and fan base going forwards.
Yeah, and I always think Savannah is such a great melting pot, because you get people from obviously all over the world that come to Savannah, and also just from different cities. And it's a thriving soccer community that you can't walk around the corner without seeing a local shirt, or an English Premier League shirt. And sorry, we can't all support Borough, Coach. I'm sorry. But last time at Starland Yard, I thought it was great. I was there with Brian, and unfortunately I wasn't able to make it out for the Man U match, but gave away some scarves. People were genuinely interested and thrilled to know that there is professional soccer coming in a mere few weeks. And I mean, I really hope the community embraces this club, and I feel like you're doing a great job being a part of it, Coach. So I really appreciate that. And I'll leave you with this. Are there any dates, fixtures, times? I know the official schedule isn't out yet, but possibility of friendlies that the community could take part of and come out to Memorial and support the Clovers?
Yeah, the good thing with the club is I think you've seen, you know, we're starting to announce things daily on the social media accounts. We have a really good pre-season of games already set, and I know the club's going to announce them pretty shortly. But yes, it's quite an exciting time, and we're hopeful that we're going to have a very exciting announcement for an exciting game in the stadium that will come up in February. So yeah, we can't wait for that.
Well, I'm certainly going to circle it on my calendar, and I hope to be there, finally get to meet you in person, and can't thank you enough for taking the time. These are exciting times for Savannah, exciting times for the Clovers, and I want to thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, Kyle. I appreciate you all, and all the fans out there. We can't wait to get going and have you, you know, supporting us, and you know, the guys on the field and all the training staff will, you know, we're going to work as hard as we possibly can to make this a massive success. But obviously we need everybody's back in, you know, in the stands and behind the scenes as well. And so we appreciate you all, and we're looking forward to getting going.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. You heard him, folks. Time to come out to Memorial in April, get it rocking, make some noise, and hopefully we'll be able to bring a lot of good matches here to Savannah. Coach, thanks so much for joining me.
I appreciate you, Kyle. You take care.
Coach David Proctor, everybody, on the Savannah Clovers official podcast. I'm Kyle Lawson. Thank you for joining me. We'll hope to be back with some more news as soon as we have it in getting ready for the first official NISA season for your Savannah Clovers. Take care.
Thank you.